Palms up. Hello, hello, Facebook. It's another week. We've got some folks that are going to stop by the platform. So we're going to be starting in just a moment. Palms up. It's your girl. It's a girl back for another week. Uh-oh. There's something new. Tell you about it. We'll talk about it in just a minute. All righty. Let's see if we can get it on all the platforms. Hello, hello, Facebook. Hello, hello. Grab a friend. Let them know. Palms up is coming on. Oh, we were early for a change. Not really. All righty. Let's see what we're doing. We are going to go here. We've got some friends that are stopping by the platform this evening. We are so excited. Welcome back from the 4th of July. Well, well, well. Let's see if we get it shared everywhere it needs to be. I imagine our friends will be coming in very soon. 3-day weekend, huh? Hashtag palms up. Da, da, da. Giving you guys time to get in place, as well as my folk. All righty, let's get this show on the road. We got a lot of talking to do this week. We got some folks, as you heard me say, that's going to join the platform. So as you heard me say, we're trying something new. You like? Palms up. Let's act like we know and get these steps together and get this recorded. Hey, it's your girl. Oh, this meeting's being recorded. It's your girl, it's Rhonda. Hey guys, welcome up. I'm back for another week. We've got some wonderful folks that's going to stop by our platform. So I'm going to apologize up front for the fact that I would imagine that it's going to start getting busy really soon. Well, you know what we do. You know what we do. Before I go any further, let me just say yes. It's summertime. Time to try something different. So y'all hang out with your girl and let me know what you think. All right. I'm feeling it. I'm still getting used to it. You know how we do. All right. Palms up. Want to shout out to our wonderful sponsors starting out. We want to make sure that Glamour Nails is getting some love. I better get over there. 202-750-6612 is our wonderful Miss Sheila. Thank you so much for all that you do for keeping our mission funded, Miss Sheila, over there on North Capitol Street. Glamour Nails, go get your nails done. Hey guys, we're coming out of this pandemic, they say, and if so, we got to do what we do, get back to the norm, our new norm, taking care of us first. Let's get it right. All right, that's Glamour Nails, North Capitol Street. 202-750-6612. Tell her that your girl Rhonda sent you over there and see if that don't do something on that price tag for you. Hey, Miss Danita's House of Hair. Hey, Queen, how you doing out there? Over there, Suitland, Maryland. 202-607-4325 is the number you can reach Miss Danita's House of Hair on. That's 202-607-4325. That's another beautiful queen that's been holding us down through this pandemic and making sure they're wonderful sponsors of our show. And they love the work that we do, guys. And so I just want you guys to make sure that you're helping us to take care of our sponsors, because they certainly have been taking care of us. Welcome our beautiful Miss Overseer Coles. All right, guys, and Waterfront Insurance Network, not to be outdone, 202-487-0497. They definitely hold the platform down, and they making sure that this mental health message gets out every week. Hello, you beautiful queen. How are you?
How are you?
Hey, how's it going? You know how we do. The train took off, but I knew you had your ticket. I knew you were in the boost. I knew you was on your way. Hey guys out there, if you want to know how to support the platform, you can always make a donation. Our Cash App is Palms Up. That's right, Palms Up, the number 4, capital M, capital I, because you know how we roll over here. We get this word out. Hey, Overseer Coles, we got a wonderful, wonderful segment tonight on failed justice. So I was apologizing up front for all of the traffic we're expecting on the platform tonight, because we got a lot of talk about in this crazy town of ours. You think?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get this word on the street out the way so we can go ahead and get this kicked off. Guys, I want you to know that the beautiful month of July was so much going on. We had a beautiful 3-day weekend. Some of us 4, some of us 5. I know the pandemic got us doing something new, and that's right. Take care of you first, always. Well, I want to talk to you because as I started preparing for my work day, I saw some interesting things in the month of July. I didn't realize we were celebrating so much in the month of July. So July, take my word, if you beefing with somebody out there, or you feeling some kind of way, or you need to call a long lost friend or relative, July might be the month. Don't take my word for it. Let me tell you the kinds of things that are nationally and internationally recognized in the month of July. Now, here we go. July 1st is International Reggae Day. And obviously, you know, that was originated in Kingston, Jamaica, home of Mr. Bob Marley. So we can imagine why we would have an International Reggae Day. So the next time July 1st roll around, guys, I want y'all to remember that that's the day to pay homage to our beautiful, beautiful reggae folks and their beautiful music and culture. July 4th was not only Independence Day as we recognize it, but did you guys know that July 4th was National Postal Workers Day? Know anybody is in the post office? Next time you're celebrating the 4th of July, let them know you're celebrating them too, the National Postal Workers Day. Now, this one is controversial, but I'm gonna put it out there. What was it, July 4th? Oh, that's July 6th. I'm gonna wait and bring it around. So well, here it is. July 6th is National Fried Chicken Day. So I don't know who made that up, a brown person or another person, but I don't know. But July 6th today, those of you who are fortunate enough to be frying chicken for dinner in celebration of Fried Chicken Day. I tell you also what today is. Today is International Kissing Day. International Kissing Day. Imagine that. So like I told you, if you guys see your sweetie, y'all beefing or whatever, July is not the month. I'm telling you, July 7th is National Chocolate Day. July 7th is also National Global Forgiveness Day. I told you, gonna have to get rid of them beefs in July. And I'm sorry, let me back up. I knew I had messed up. July 5th is National Workaholics Day. Can you imagine? So we just got it right. We got lucky this year because the holiday fell on Sunday. So we just happened to be off officially on National Workaholics Day. And then also tomorrow, to my fathers and my daughters, tomorrow is National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day. Okay? So if you ever needed a reason to get out and take a walk, that's it. And those of you that are not going to be doing your father-daughter walks, tomorrow is also Tell the Truth Day. So if you've been looking for a day to establish a new norm, oh my goodness, let me tell you, tomorrow would be it. July 11th, let's keep this party going, is Cheer Up the Lonely Day. So on July 11th, if you ain't got nothing going on and you bored and you don't cheer up somebody that's lonely. And if you're the lonely one, then you're going to have to find some folk to get around so that you can cheer up, because that's a National Cheer Up the Lonely Day. July 13th, folks such as myself who's struggling with this weight, is National French Fry Day. So we're going to take a break from our diets on the 13th and we're going to get some French fries, palms up. It's a national holiday. July 15th is National Pet, what is that? Oh, National Pet Fire Safety Day. I had to throw that in there for our little animals and all of our little extra family members, extended family members. They have their own pet safety day. Imagine that. July 17th is National Lottery Day, and it's also National Tattoo Day. And July 18th, we could not mention all of these holidays and not bring up National Mandela Day. It's actually called National Mandela International Day. So homage to our dear Nelson Mandela, freedom fighter, and gave all of his wonderful years of his living to for the cause. And so we are so indebted to his fight and commitment, Father of South Africa. July 30th, to wrap this up, International Day of Friendship. Did I lie? July is not the month to be having no beef. Now, who in the world knew that July had all those types of celebratory days? Well, let's talk about this word on the street and keep this going. Well, a dear friend, dear colleague of ours, who I hope is watching since he hasn't made it to the platform yet, sent me word and wanted me to know that July is also Disability Pride Month. And I thought that was awesome because I didn't know that. And so he wanted me to make sure to point out that non-visible and physical disabilities matter. And so in 2015, the Disability Pride Month holiday came about in celebration of the ADA's 25th anniversary. The mayor of New York at the time, Bill de Blasio, he declared that this July would be Disability Pride Month. And so I had to look it up to understand it because I didn't know it to be a month. I know we do the parades and things like that and for Pride Month, and shout out to our beautiful Pride families and individuals. But to have a Disability Pride Month recognition is just awesome. And I love that. So if you need any reason to be nicer to our vulnerable members in the community, guys, in July's the month. Remember, we told you so. All right. So tonight we're looking to extend this conversation and talk to you a little bit more. Friday, those of you who got word or see that our Attorney General Karl Racine in DC filed a lawsuit over dangerous and unlawful conditions at 3 apartment communities, naming one in Ward 8 Marbury Plaza, which definitely should be named. But we're so in an uproar over him not naming Woodbury Village, which further leads us to believe that there's just something underhanded about how Woodbury families were handled. As you recall the story when Healthy DCME Coalition of Advocates got on the scene over 150 days ago, what we saw were families living with no heat in the wintertime. You're going to hear a little bit more about that in just a moment. But what we also saw were they were living in under siege of rodent infestations, leaking ceilings, you name it. And so on Friday, word on the street is that our Attorney General Karl Racine in DC filed lawsuit, but failed to mention Woodbury Plaza. And we just don't understand why that's so. So we're going to keep dialing up this conversation. And guys, you please stay tuned to the platform because we got a lot to talk to you about this evening. Also, word on the street is that the U.S. Human Rights Network Executive Director, Dr. Vicky Casanova, she stated that the United Nations High U.S. Commissioner's Report, it provides hope, she says, to impacted communities and grassroots groups in the United States that the world will no longer turn a blind eye to domestic crimes against humanity. So she's saying that in relation to the fact that the United Nations has a new human rights report that is echoing grassroots calls to dismantle structural racism in law enforcement. So guys, it's one thing when we're dealing with it locally and then when it hits nationally, but then when the global community starts calling for it to be called out and they're sending word to those of us on the ground that are advocating, this is why it's important to advocate. So guys, it's not just a national issue. They're calling for, from the United Nations standpoint, they're calling for the dismantling of structural racism in law enforcement. Guys, I'm telling you, this is some real stuff out here, and we don't have to tell you about it. There are people living it, and I invite you all to be certain that you help to support these causes, guys. The global community is starting to show support around the types of issues and conditions that our citizens are living with. And as I shared with you at the top of the hour, we've invited some folks into our platform because we want you to hear from them directly about some of the things that they continue to live with in the face of these failed justice understandings, as we talked about tonight's show will focus on. I want to also wrap up our Word on the Street session with rest in peace to our lost angel, Miss Jayla Way. Miss Jayla Way is a Ward 8 queen who died in her sleep from a fentanyl-laced Percocet. The chief medical examiner is reporting that 95% of over 400 deaths in the city in 2020 were fentanyl related, guys. We've got to better about caring about our folks around us, and these drugs on these streets are death sentences, so we've got to speak it up. And thank you to our beautiful queen on the platform this evening. We're going to do some talking and speaking it up tonight. I also want to send a rest in peace to Renelle Marshall from Northern Virginia, was shot in Southeast DC in the middle of the afternoon. We lost her. She was going to a movie with a friend, and she was just showing up over in Southeast. You know, we hear these stories, stray bullets, the guns are going off continuously. Our folks are living under siege. And then finally, guys, I want to send a rest in peace to Jeremy Black, a Peace Corps worker who was killed by a stray bullet while leaving dinner with his wife over on 14th Street Northwest. I just want you to know that this gun violence is not particular to any part of this city. We are living under siege across this city. Our mental health platform is meant to call out and raise awareness to the injustices that many of our families and our individuals and our children are living under. And without any further ado, Mr. Perry Red, I've invited him to come to the platform this evening, along with members of our Woodbury Village community, apartment community over in Ward 8 Southeast DC. We're going to give them time to arrive to the platform, but what we'd like to do is to invite Mr. Red first and foremost to welcome you, Mr. Red. Mr. Red is the executive director and CEO of Sincere 7, who's been around over 20 years. So wisdom, that's an understatement. He brings more than just wisdom. He brings his professionalism, and he is a dedicated advocate on the ground. He's our failed justice advocate, and he's the one that's helping us to break down and to understand these awful instances that we just cannot reconcile, both locally and nationally. Welcome, Mr. Red, to the platform. Can you hear me?
Hopefully you can hear me, Ms. Rhonda. Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. Thanks so much. I know we wrestle with these technology gods every week, so hopefully they're going to work with us this week. I'm going to get out of your way. I just wanted to throw the ball your way, sir, first and foremost, and thank you. I was about to pull my hair out Friday when that news article came out with Mr. Racine, but I'm going to wait for that one because I want to give some more of our invited guests this time to show up. But boy, do we have enough going on with Bill Cosby and then Howard University and Felicia Rashad. I know you're going to update us on our local issues because our dear Karan Brown. So I'm just going to, ask you to come forward and help us understand what's on your radar and help us break it down while we wait for our Woodbury folk.
Well, let me carry some of that weight for you, Rhonda.
Thank you.
There's so much going on, and you have been such a jewel in all the contributions you've given to this community. I'm just so honored to be a part of the Healthy DC and Me Leadership Coalition in offering what assistance I can to the residents at Woodbury Village. But I do want to start off talking about an issue that is seeming to cause some divides in our community, and that is the issue of the vacation of the sentence of Bill Cosby, a legend, a well-known legend in America, in the America entertainment genre. Unfortunately, facts have brought themselves out that Mr. Cosby has a sordid history, a sordid past, one that he's chosen and many times in his past not to talk about. And it's understandable why. Anyone who is accused of rape doesn't necessarily want to talk about it. Anyone who does is out of their mind. But anyone who rapes anyone is out of their mind. So here we stand. In 2018, Bill Cosby was convicted by a jury who heard the evidence, heard Andrea Constand speak about being raped back in 2005. And what is sad for us is that there has been denial after denial as female after female has come forward and shared very similar stories about their experiences with the famed legend Bill Cosby. Now, most of us, we know, especially those of us who are 40 and younger, we know Bill Cosby from The Cosby Show.
Right.
Some of us who are older, we know Bill Cosby from Fat Albert and those albums that our mamas used to buy, you know, and Bill Cosby was the clean comic where Richard Pryor was the dirty comic, right? Or,
isn't that
but
ironic?
yeah, isn't that irony? And so what we have found is that when Andrea Constand came forward, she was probably at the time the bravest among all, because others didn't want to challenge the power, the might, and the money of Bill Cosby. And this is one of the problems when we live in a capitalist society, that justice turns out to be a victim in a democracy, in a democratic society. So Andrea Constand accused Bill Cosby of raping her. And what had happened was, prior to his trial, this was back in the last decade, Bill Cosby, in order to avoid going to jail, offered his testimony in a deposition to a Pennsylvania prosecutor. And that prosecutor supposedly, from what we understand, made him a verbal promise not to prosecute him if he told the facts of what happened with this woman. And so he went on to testify, and this is on video. You can go on YouTube and view it. Bill Cosby gave a deposition saying that he had habitually, or at least as a common practice, given women a lace drug so that their inhibitions would be let down, which would make it easier for him to take advantage of their bodies and enjoy himself, to pleasure himself with women who were semi-conscious, if conscious at all. Now, for anyone who knows the joys of love and sex and intimacy, anything other than full conscious consent is rape.
Absolutely.
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
If one person doesn't consent, then it is rape.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And because we love Bill Cosby so much, it brings to mind to me a family where a father has a history of raping his children. And I, as the brother, have to make a decision on who do I defend. The father who was raised and fed me, or the sister who was raised with me. Well, as a man, as a black man, as a man of America, as a man, period, as a human being, here's the deal. I may love my father, but here's the deal. That if my father rapes my sister, then 2 places for him to be. 1 is under the jail, or 2, under hell. So it is for all of us in America to understand. I may love my father, but he ain't no earthly good if he's raping my sister. And listen, I may go visit him in prison, but I know this, that you don't belong on these streets. And that's where we stand with Bill Cosby. That Bill Cosby, and this is where we have to stand. And this is what made it so problematic with Phylicia Rashad. That she immediately tweeted, justice was done. And that a right has been wrong has been righted.
Right.
Well, that is inaccurate, number one.
Yeah.
But number two, she was just chosen as the dean
Yes.
of the famed Howard
Yes.
University
Yeah, at the time.
Performing Arts
awful.
Department.
Yes.
And so the backlash against her caused them to pull her in and say, listen, you better get this straight. You see,
Yeah.
we're not, and sadly, the Me Too movement has been neutralized by conservative minds, by the conservative political class. You see, and now we're walking back, but we cannot forget all of the prosecutions of people like Jeffrey Epstein and Matt Lauer and all of these people who we admired for years and years, who were mainstays on our TV screen and in our mental periphery. The bottom line is these men, especially the white males, but not just white males, because black men were guilty too. Men, period, are guilty.
Yes, men.
Of raping women. And I use that word rape insistently. I will persistently use it, because anything other than full consent is rape. And that
Absolutely.
is an abhorrent act.
Yeah.
And so we cannot condone it. And Felicia Rashad, unfortunately, she jumped out there in defense of someone who helped make her, who helped build her, who mentored her, and hopefully did not rape her.
Well,
But whatever the case may be, and I'm suspicious that she has Stockholm syndrome. You see, that loyalty, that undying loyalty to someone who has vaulted you above all others. But that might have come at a price, but I'm just speculating. And please let me not impugn her character. She did that all on her own. You see, and unfortunately, it's going to be difficult. She said in her apology that she will take courses in how to better defend victims of sexual violence, of sexual predators. Well, that's all good. But one thing we know is that when you jump out there, that is your first base instinct impulse. You said what you said, and you meant what you said. Just use Donald Trump as an example. All right, so the fact is, we've got a problem on our hands. And America has to reckon with, do you go with the personality or do you go with the person? And in this case, we want to talk about the humanity of the over 60 women who have come forward and say they've had less than honorable experiences with the famed Bill Cosby. Now, here's another problem, Rhonda, that when Bill Cosby was released from prison on Friday, I believe it was Friday, because you understand this, that the decision came down on June 30th. All right? So we didn't hear about him being released until a couple of days later.
A couple of days later, right.
So he had time to prepare, because the statement he made today was, oh, I'm going back to work. Number one, you're 83 years old. And I'll say this to any 80 anything, including Joe Biden. When you're 80, enjoy life. Get the hell out the way and let younger people work. Because younger people need jobs. So anyway, I digress.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know what? I appreciate that. It was something that I feel when you look at the landscape of everything, like you said, people are perplexed even, and you did a perfect job of liking it to a family situation where you've got to choose between that loyalty or what you know is right from wrong. And we touched on the platform in the last couple of shows that, oftentimes at the center of the abuse of mentally challenged individuals and children is that sexual abuse component, and a lot of times it's ancestral, and these are the types of things that we're battling back from. And so, it's just, we deal with a lot as a people. We got some beautiful queens on the platform who I invited to come share their voices, because while I know that you're going to do an eloquent job explaining the disgust in understanding that on Friday, Carl Racine made an announcement that he would, rightfully so, needing to bring suit against any management of our people that are violating the laws for DC. But what we cannot understand is why they are dragging their feet to acknowledge the plight of our beautiful, beautiful families over in Woodbury that we've had the pleasure of getting to know, who have, trusted us, entrusted us with their stories. And I felt like, we have this platform. We have enough of a viewership that we want these queens and these families, the representation of the situation over in Woodbury, to resonate so that we can get the community surrounding to raise up, because this is a bully in town. The politics must end. And when you fight this hard to leave people down, you're only illuminating, in my opinion, the reality that there's something that stinks here. So Perry, you are our failed justice, our socially speaking representative. And before we invite our beautiful Miss Hill, Miss Agnes, and Miss Jones to speak to you all, I'd love to hear from you, Perry. If you could just kind of summarize how we get to the point where he could so blatantly.
Yes, please. Just give me 4 minutes to share with the Palms Up community what the travesty in this is. And just thank God for Palms Up. Thank God for Healthy DC and Me. Thank God for Rondell Hamilton answering the call when the residents of Woodbury Village said, we don't have heat. This was back in February of 2021. Now, when we arrive on the scene, Uncut Live and In My Mother's Keeper arrive on the scene, we find that not only do they not have heat, but they have poor living conditions overall. There are rodents running through the apartment complexes. There's mold growing on the walls. There's water leakage from unattended fixtures, plumbing fixtures. There are so many violations, fire code violations, Americans with Disability Act violations. And here's the deal, that Healthy DC and Me Coalition, they got there on the ground and documented with great proficiency and efficiency, and submitted those documentations to the agencies that are charged with overseeing the maintenance of these properties where subsidized tenants and market rate tenants are living in the district. Now, Carl Racine, the Attorney General of the District of Columbia, is often a braggart about how he has held landlords to account and how he is prosecuting slumlords. Well, guess what, Washington, D.C.? All of that is nothing but smoke and mirrors. It's puff and fluff. It's a lie. And I'm here to tell you, and yes, if they want to sue me for defamation, then bring it on, because I say nothing untrue. The fact is that Healthy DC and Me Coalition documented and submitted not only to DCRA the offenses that were being committed by the landlord, known as Capital Realty, there in Woodbury Village, but also submitted to the Attorney General's office these very offenses. Now, DCRA has every responsibility to investigate, to inspect, and to report. That is what their duties are. They resisted. They had to be dragged kicking and screaming into Woodbury Village to do their jobs. But by God, they came in kicking and screaming, and they did their job. Now, I'm not going to say they did their job completely, because it took us 3 months to get them to inspect every unit in the complex. They only wanted to inspect spot check 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Well, we wasn't going. Rhonda Hamilton stayed on them, and they're angry as hell with her. But you know what? Good. We wasn't angry, because anger should only fuel you to do the right thing. So here's the worst part of this. In Washington, D.C., I'm talking to you because this may one day be you. This is why it's so important. The Attorney General's office, we have found, has committed to bring no prosecution, no enforcement of the law. There are violations of the Mold Act. There are violations of the D.C. Tenants' Rights Act. We have documented all of that. And if you go on YouTube All right, you go on YouTube, you go to Uncut Live, you'll be able to view them. You go to the Healthy DC and Me Coalition Facebook page, you will be able to see how these residents are living. Now, Marbury Plaza in Southeast DC off Good Old Road, they just had episodes where they don't have AC. They have no cooling systems. Understand this. He being Carl Racine, your Attorney General, decided to jump right in and brag about he's going to sue the landlord there. Well, watch this. The tenants at Woodbury Village didn't have heat for 6 months, and he hasn't committed not one single bit of prosecution toward them. He needs to be removed. He needs to be, and the only way it's going to happen is if you exercise your political will. Your DC council person, and I'm talking about your representative in Ward 8, has failed. That is the bottom line. He has failed because he has not advocated for you. The Office of the Attorney General is designed to advocate for the residents, not the big money capitalist interests like Capital Realty or like Mid-City and Brookline Manor or any of the other projects or housing developments, rather, not projects, forgive me, but housing developments where our people live. Now, I say our people because I want you to be cognizant that white folks ain't complaining about this. Now, we do have some white allies, but they're not apartment complexes where they're predominantly white citizens, white residents living who are having these problems. Funny how that happens. You ought to be pissed off. You ought to be just angry. I am. I'm bitter. And I want some people's head to roll. I want people fired. Yes, I know Rhonda Hamilton would make a much better attorney general, but she's probably not an attorney. I know that Perry Red would make a much better attorney general, but I'm not an attorney. And I daggone sure ain't no general. But I'll tell you this. I know what humanity means. I know what it is to live under a traumatic situation, to be stressed, to have to continue to pay your rent while you're wondering if rats are going to jump into bed with you. That's traumatizing. Or when you have a child and you have mold growing on the walls and your child now has bronchitis. Listen, these are crimes that are being committed. And we need you to join the Healthy DC and Me Coalition, to step up, to contact In My Mother's Keeper, to contact Sincere 7, to contact the Darmo Task Force, to contact any of the organizations within the Healthy DC and Me Coalition and say, I want to help. I want to support. I want to send you $5. I want to do what I can because this is a DC problem and DC residents are suffering immensely. Their mental health is at stake. We have one resident who we met with who had a camera in her home, a hidden camera by the landlord. If that ain't enough to make you say enough is enough, I don't know what is.
Thank you, P. That is so
Rhonda,
beautifully said.
how we gonna do it different, Rhonda?
Well, you know why? You know how we're going to do it different? We're going to stand by and we're going to help prop up and support these beautiful queens that took time from their families and from these horrible living conditions to take time to talk to this Facebook Live audience because this city has decided to turn their back and turn their head as they do. Perry, you're going to talk to us again and thank you. We've been here before. I remember Karon Brown Hilton's mom, Karen, echoing the same sentiments after her baby had been killed and ran down. And she said all she could, as a mother grieving, why hasn't the mayor reached out? These folks in these elective offices are not sympathetic to the plight of our people east of this river, west of the river. They have to be made to care. And we've got to stop this as soon as possible. My beautiful queen, Miss Cornelia Hill, welcome to the platform. My beautiful queen, Miss Agnes Addison, welcome to the platform. Miss Jackie Chisholm Jones, welcome to the platform. I see Miss Mack is checking in with us, and also Miss Tessie Williams. Hello, queens. I figured you guys, you know we're in this fight, Woodbury Village. You know we're in this fight with you, and you know we're with you till the end, and we're not above coming to social media to let them know that we're not having it. And we've been fighting this fight with you guys, and you guys have been so graceful in helping us to understand where you're frustrated and where you've grown tired of being patient. And so I wanted our audience to hear from you, because there have been articles written about this, but let's talk about this local media right now. Because what seems to happen when they get the story and don't think we're not giving it to them, they tend to call downtown to verify. They say they're going to verify the information or the facts, as if the pictures and your stories are not factual enough. You living it isn't factual enough. So they got to call and verify. So to me, that's code to find out who else is involved, because we live in a political town. Well, guys, I thank you. I thank you for taking the time to come to this platform this evening, to hear our story, to see the plight of these beautiful family members who are your family members, who are our community members. And I would like to invite my beautiful queens of Woodbury Village to unmute. You guys are the perfect representation of your community. And again, I thank you all for taking the time. But Miss Addison, I'll start with you. Will you come forward and just help us to understand in your own words where you are with this and what your exposure to this god-awful circumstance has been? And then just, if you'll wrap up with us and help us feel how it feels to know that they would bring a lawsuit and not add Woodbury to it. Hello, Miss Addison, you got the floor.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm truly disappointed, because I started getting my letter on February the 2nd to get my stuff together to relocate with their renovation. I had one date to that they was going to move me on March the 3rd. Then I had another date, March the 31st, then May the 31st. And I still haven't relocated, and I ended up being the only tenant in my building left.
In a pandemic, Miss Addison. And I just want to put that in context. Thanks for sharing that. I want to put that in context and make sure I get to all of your other co-tenants. But the reality of them having a contract with the tenants, coming in, telling them what to expect, breaking those promises and not being held accountable, and then showing up months later while these folks are living with no heat and packed up, living out of boxes, waiting for them to deliver on these promises, to tell them they didn't know they were living like that. And that's supposed to be acceptable. And our Attorney General's office, the mayor, these folks know that these correspondences have happened, and they did nothing. So Ms. Addison, I thank you, because, they would have our city to believe that it's the advocates such as myself or Mr. Red or our dear Overseer Coles that make this a bigger issue than what it is, as if you saying it and living it isn't enough. Queen, I promise you, all the work that we do is to make sure we help to deliver justice for you all. And I thank you for taking the time this evening. Miss Cornelia Hill, will you come forward and unmute yourself and greet us and share with us in your own words what your experience has been? And then when you wrap up, how did it make you feel to find out that this lawsuit came?
Oh, it was a wreck, because I'm one of the tenants that they moved to Marlboro Plaza. And when I first moved up there, I saw the sign on the front door that said asbestos. But I didn't pay it no mind. I'm like, okay. But then I was on the floor where they ripped the carpet up. They was pulling the stuff from the wall. They caged my house in. The apartment they put me in, they caged it in plastic. And didn't give, just like here, no warning, no notice, no nothing. And so I just happened to look out the peephole, and I couldn't see nothing. And I snatched the door open. And I was like, what are y'all doing? So I had to tell them, get me a English speaking person to this door, because y'all not gonna lock me in. People was coming to I have a large family. Mm-hmm. My family was coming and saying, oh my God, are we about to catch something?
Mm-hmm. Literally. A pandemic, come on now.
They had the whole floor plastic in sections as they was working towards the end of the hallway, taking asbestos down. Now I'm really worried about that.
While y'all living there every day and don't even have no previous notice about it.
No kind.
That's what
Period.
our argument has been with the Attorney General's office, is that there's no proper oversight. Now, fast forward, because I know your story, and I know we can be here, but I want to get everybody in. Talk to me about when you
So
found out.
now they
Right.
moved me back. They moved me back, and it's
Yeah.
a mess. This is a mess. Matter of fact, the fire marshal showed up today,
Very good.
and I told her about the front before she even got here. I said, because I'm so fearful. I mean, we got big slabs of wood sitting out there on the porch. Let's talk about, it was 4th of July. So a lot of kids was out there.
Yes.
I mean, literally, they have our front caged off, and it's a big deep hole. They didn't let us know they was doing that.
Yeah.
I've been
you
here.
know what? And you know what? When you talk and you tell me about the hole and on your respect, how it represents, challenge and inconvenience on your side, we're getting folks on the renovator side calling. They got mouse running everywhere. You know what happens when you open up.
Not mice, rats.
Yeah, exactly, rats. Let me correct myself. Now, you find out you living through all this. You done came through the winter. You done reached out. Got all these people on the property. My God, Phil Mendelson, the chair of the council person, came to see you directly. And then you find out that they bring in a lawsuit and it doesn't have Woodbury Village in it.
Exactly. And I couldn't understand that at all. And they steady moving our tenants to Marlboro Plaza, where I'm so glad I wasn't up there, but Marlboro Plaza is no different. They got rats, they got roaches.
Absolutely.
A mess. This hallway, we've been back here since October, where the building was empty, completely empty for 3 months. And guess what? They're not finished every single day. I don't know. You say I have a patch up. I don't know if I'm having a nerve problem or what. Every morning at 7 a.m., they're banging and clanging.
Because they're trying to make good. Because they're trying to hurry up and make good. Because every time we give them the spreadsheet of what y'all tell us y'all living with, the Attorney General's office takes it and gives it to the property manager or the ownership so they can hurry up and fix it. So when the people we call out to do the investigations can't find, but when you living like that, that Band-Aid work, what did Alicia Brown, the new management, because they got rid of the other one because she was threatening everybody. They get people that look like us to treat us like crap, as if you guys are some kind of plantation.
But I don't even think that's even bad. It's a shame that my granddaughter was here. She's 4 years old. And because my tub, I moved back and my tub looked a mess. My granddaughter said to me the other day, Grandma, this tub needs to be cleaned.
Your child can see that. There's no oversight. But I was just going to tell you.
Come in. They wanted to glaze my tub. They wanted to glaze my tub. And this is an insult to me. I can put you in a vacant apartment for 6 hours. I said,
you got some people living because they've been doing that. And guess what? There's so much we can talk about this, Ms. Hill. I just thank you so much, because the biggest problem I have is that they keep trying to push the narrative that the problems are with the units that haven't been renovated, but you were moved away, moved back, still have problems, and they have the audacity to put in writing that they spending $56,000 per unit.
Yeah,
I said, you better get somebody to help you out with your workmanship, because that's ridiculous. Our phones ring every day. Tell me about it, Miss Tessie Williams. Thank you, Miss Hill. Miss Tessie Williams, come forward and greet our Facebook audience. Thanks, Queen, for taking the time out. I told you guys, we're with you guys until the end. We're going to bring justice, but we needed them to know they're not going to sweep your stories under the rug, because you matter. Hi, Queen.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Tessie, come on forward and tell us a bit of your story, babe, and how it makes you feel to know about this lawsuit.
I mean, I am devastated to hear about the lawsuit. When we went without heat the whole winter, I was complaining about no heat the whole winter. And now that the summer has came, I've been complaining about the AC units that are in my unit. They still haven't came. And I've been complaining about that a month ago, and complaining about that when they had the last person in the rental office. I've been out of my unit for a whole year and a couple of months, still haven't received a move-in date, but housing was contacting them. They told housing I was supposed to be back in my unit. I believe that was the end of May. The end of May, I supposed to move back in my unit. No one still has not reached out to me in no type of way. I've been living like I'm living in a vacancy. The unit they moved me in wasn't even fit for anyone to live in.
Mm-hmm. They tell
Uh,
you, Tessie, they wasn't gonna fix the floors because it's just a temporary. So you gotta have them old messed up floors over there.
yes, the floors, the kitchen floor, my tub was horrible when I moved in, but they did come in and glaze that, but it's only but so long that glaze
And
lasts.
then it comes back off. Same thing with the suspicious black spots keep showing up. They come and do something, and wipe them down, and then we get the call back. And then we point it out so that they would do something different. But the fact that they know you guys have been over there suffering through, going without heat is enough in and of itself. But these other conditions you guys have had to struggle through, Tess, I appreciate you coming forward, because they keep on, I try to protect and shield you guys from this, because you've dealt with enough. But then they start throwing daggers at me because they want to know why I won't turn, or why I won't be on the take, or why I won't just shut up, because there are human lives involved. And it could have been me, and it could have been one of mine. And so, Tessie, I thank you for speaking up. We're going to get justice. I promise you. This social media is the platform to make sure that the word gets out, because it can just play and play and play. And one thing we do know is they are human, and we will wear their human butts down until they acknowledge you guys and do right by you. Thanks so much. Hey, Miss Jones, thanks so much for coming out and taking the time. I know you're dealing with some family matters, and you wanted to be a support system for your apartment community, Woodbury. Thanks so much. Talk to us a little bit about your story and your experience briefly, and then how you felt when you heard that lawsuit come out.
It doesn't really surprise me, because I see how the politics are played in this city.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to Capital Realty, all of them are in bed together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They care nothing about us.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I'm 61 years old, and to be made to feel like I felt in this last year or so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I heard my parents talk about the discrimination and the nonsense that they had to go through during the civil rights era. And to sit up here and have to deal with situations as far as housing, watching children, babies, elderly. I'm really kind of I'm disturbed.
Yeah.
It's not fair. You understand what I'm saying? Because we are real people over here at Woodbury Village.
Yes, you are.
Okay,
yes,
and we are good people.
Yes, you
over
are.
here at Woodbury
Absolutely.
Village.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
and they've come in and treated us like trash.
Absolutely.
And the Attorney General, he should be ashamed of himself.
Absolutely. I told him on the last email, I told Samson tried to come on and tell me about they spend all this money, state-of-the-art security system. I said, look at here. I promise you that I'm going to shame this city to make sure you do right by our people until we shut you down, because this is ridiculous. And I thank you guys. And Miss Shayla Mack, you're on. If you can hear me, will you unmute? And hey, Tasha, coming to you next. Shayla, come on forward. Thank you, Queens, for speaking thus far. This is what it's going to take. We got to let them know we're not having it. And we holding the line for the rest of them. It's almost 300 units over there. And we've heard from about over 20%. 20% we've touched in that community that have these same kinds of problems that you hear us talking about. And these aren't old problems. They are also new problems. And we've got to get to the bottom of it. And we want oversight. We want accountability. And how in the world we want specific explanations and examples for why it is you feel the need to bring a lawsuit against Marbury for the same conditions that you've been verifying that has been happening at Woodbury, but you took that information and gave it to the ownership to help them continue to put these people through this god-awful stuff. And we keep telling you the quality of the work is of question. Hey, Miss Shayla Max, can you hear me? If you can, will you unmute and give us a little bit of your story? If not, I'm going to go to Tasha. Can you hear me, Tasha? If you ladies didn't want to speak, it's okay. I just didn't want to not recognize you.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Hey, Queen, you want to speak up and tell us a little bit of your story? Thanks so much for taking the time. You know, I appreciate you coming out from behind the curtain, but we got to take it to them because they got us messed up. You know what I'm saying? How you feel about this lawsuit against Marbury and these folks acting like? Talk to me.
I'm glad that they are doing it, but they need to come
join
on.
the board.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I appreciate that you made that point. At least they acknowledge they got a problem over in Ward 8, and everything they laid out is spelled out in the documentation they've been reading for you all. So now we just got to find out what they see differently, that they couldn't do the right thing by you all, that, you know, makes no sense.
Right. You know, they was in my hallway this morning, 6 o'clock in the morning doing.
6 o'clock? I don't even think that's supposed to be legal. See, that's the problem. They just doing anything. No oversight.
Oh, that's
Your-
good.
Your mental health don't matter. And let's be clear. Let's help our dear audience understand. How long some of y'all been living around there? Let them know.
20 years.
Come on.
24.
14 years.
Come on. This how you treat long-term residents, staples in our community, our big mamas raising their babies. Are you kidding me?
I'm still waiting on my paperwork that I ain't got done yet. Still waiting for them to call me. Still waiting for them to get the light fixture fixed. They keep saying they gonna send somebody. It's been 2 months. Ain't nobody came yet.
And they got rid of the old manager, Monique Miller, and got this new lady in there and got her to be an scapegoat. I tried to warn her. She tell me, oh no, they're not slum lords. I said, look at here, you ain't been there long enough. You sit back and pay attention and stop representing them and take a look at the people coming in there with these stories. They ain't making them up. Hey guys, I appreciate you stopping by. I know you got a lot going on over there. You know our hearts are with you. You know I'm just a call away. I'm glad to hear that the fire marshal made it. We're pushing for a property-wide mold inspection. Anybody that's listening that works for EPA, I need you to know we got suspicious black marks showing up over there. And right now, we're being held hostage by Mark Radix, the attorney for Capital Realty, who's telling us through by way of the attorney general that even though the paperwork said it had mold, they didn't fix it, and now the unit ain't got no more mold. So my baby with the newborn, under 4 months old, supposed to stay in this unit looking at this black grimy stuff. Then I show up at the next unit that calls me.
She in somebody else's house because she's scared for her baby to go back in the house.
Come on now. Come on. Come on. And then we got HUD involved because this is truly discrimination, because this couldn't have been a bunch of Caucasian or Jewish families living like this. Let's just call it what it is. We're not having it. Post George Floyd, we told you, America, that we're not living under these systemic type practices. And don't get it twisted. We got come for you, Mr. Racine and Miss Mayor Bowser and Mr. Trayon White, because see, you all are our skin color. And you're supposed to know better. And we ain't asking you to make no miracles happen, but you should have showed up and gave these people the dignity that they deserve.
Show up because there was no cameras up there. We had,
you know what it is? And then they ain't show up after we showed up, because then it's gonna be too embarrassing, Tasha, because oh God forbid, you know what what's her name? Let's shame her. Miss Jennifer Berger over in the Attorney General's office say, Miss Hamilton, thank you for your voluntary advocacy. As if this town of clicks would pay somebody such as myself to do what I do. And you thought that money would stop us from coming to the aid of our people? Shame on you, DC. Shame on you. Come on, ladies. Anybody else got anything else they want to share before we turn it back over to Mr. Red? Tonight's session was about failed justice, but I had to get you ladies on here because I'm getting calls from you, the people in your community. You guys are not happy about this lawsuit, and the better way for me to tell him was to show him. Thank you, ladies, for showing up. Anybody got anything they want to say in closing? Because you know we're still in this fight, and justice is ours. This is about shaming them.
Well, they should be ashamed.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
thank you so much, Miss Rhonda Hamilton, Perry Red, your entire team for sticking by us the way you have.
We here with you, Queen. God bless you. We're going to do this to the end. We're going to help this town learn a new norm when it comes to dealing with our families. Hey, Mr. Perry Red, I know that we covered the major ones, but did you have anything you wanted to add or throw in there in terms of an update for Mr. Hilton, Mr. Brown Hilton up in Ward 4, our beautiful Mr. Karan Hilton? Can you hear me, Perry? He might be muted. I know we were having some communication issues.
Excuse me, Miss Rhonda.
Hey, come on, Tessie, come on.
And also, even with the mailbox
that's
issue
right.
with them, changing out locks on our mailbox.
right.
They just
That's
taking
right.
advantage of us here.
That's
You know,
right.
and even with them storing my furniture's supposed to been protected. It done been stepped on, ranked all over. You know,
Child.
like I have been stressing for a whole year and a couple of months due to these people taking over this property. Like
Yeah.
it's been
Yes.
nothing but lies, and they have treated us like we are trash. Period.
Hey,
I mean,
Jesse, thank
it's
you.
nothing I can say good about them. And then my vehicle was hit in the parking lot. They didn't even want to check the cameras. So is the cameras to protect them or to protect us? You
Well,
know,
that's
and
a good
even with
question.
security on the property, security is not even here every day. Security does not do anything. We can't get no parking. The parking lot is full of men sitting up and down the sidewalks. You can't even walk up and down the sidewalks. You can barely get in the buildings. It's just a mess. It's been a mess since they stepped on a property.
And I'm
And
glad you
something needs
clarified
to be
that.
done.
Yeah,
The
and something
units
will
are
be done.
horrible. The outside living is horrible.
Mhm.
Everything about this place is horrible. And I've been here 14 years and I have never seen anything like it. The rats did not show up until these people showed up.
Okay, and I thank you for clarifying that because they want to put everything on William C. Smith, and I keep telling them that ship has sailed because when you completed the purchase, you knew the responsibilities and you went into private
Exactly.
pack. You had no right to have these people going through the winter with no heat. If you knew that was the case, then you should have come and you should have negotiated their rental situations for some sort of portable heat, some sort of situation that let them know that you care. See, they're trying to take it and make it seem like we're being unrealistic because they bought this property that was already in need of repair. No, we're upset because you sat on the money. I think the numbers I saw said something like 10 million. You sat on the money, which means you made money on the money you were supposed to be using to fix these properties up. And our citizens went through the winter with mice and rats and rodents and mold and no heat, using their stoves and walking around with their dignities challenged, their mental health is diminished. Everything is on fire. What we found when we got to that property on February the 5th, there should have been a public announcement.
Absolutely.
I'm living in a home that I've been complaining about. I have been on the phone with housing probably for 2-3 months. They was calling them constantly, digging in their stuff. I'm living in a place right now to where as though the floors are coming all up. I don't think that I should have had to live like this for a whole year. Like I'm living in a vacant place. I don't live like this.
No, and
It's something really needs to be done.
And here's the thing, Tessie, the reason why we keep calling out the attorney general, he's the highest attorney in the land. He the one supposed to be watching the kingdom. He the one supposed to be making sure that these slumlords are not coming over here getting tax breaks and all these big dollar contracts and at you all's behest. He's the one that's supposed to call them out.
They go home and be comfortable. They go home and be comfortable, so they don't care about us.
Exactly.
Let me make one point.
Even with Phil Middleton coming stand in the middle of my floor, he acted like he was just oblivious to. He didn't know nothing was going on.
Because we bum rushed him. He thought he was going to sneak over there, take some quick pictures, and say everything okay. He didn't expect the advocates to be there to call his butt out, especially not Mr. Perry Red, and had him citing the Mold Act only to get his butt out of there and do nothing. And that's what they do, nothing, because it's not their families. Come on, Perry.
So let me just say this in closing. First of all, thank you, Ms. Addison. Thank you so much, Ms. Williams. Thank you so much, Ms. Thompson, Ms. Hill, Ms. Brown, Ms. Mack, Ms. Jones. I just, let me tell you, having you all is scaring them to death. And they shouldn't be scared because they should be simply doing what they are supposed to do. So what we have done as a next step is we have now called for an investigation from the Inspector General. And today we got an email back from Kathy Patterson, the DC auditor. And that agency is independent of any of the agencies in the district. And so she doesn't have to answer to the mayor, she doesn't have to answer to the Attorney General, but she gets to subpoena all their records. And we're going to, and what I'm looking for is, what are the incestuous relationships between the folks who are doing what they're doing to you and the folks who are allowing
it. That's right.
And from that report, from an Inspector General's report, we will begin to clean house. Unfortunately, the wheels of justice in America, they grind slowly. And Martin Luther King said that let the moral arc of the universe bend, let it bend toward justice. And so we are doing our God-loving, ever best efforts to bend it toward justice. And
Yeah.
it's not easy. They're trying to vilify us. They're trying to demonize us. As a matter of fact, in the Office of Administrative Hearings, they are trying to excise the advocate from helping
Yeah, because
residents.
they don't want people to wake up.
So we're fighting on every front, and they coming at us, but we got on our gloves, and we want to put hands on them.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Go
But
ahead.
you
No,
know
you go ahead.
exactly what I'm talking about. And
Mhm.
we can't do it without them.
That's
Let me tell you,
right.
they can't argue against 55 residents from Woodbury. Let me tell
That's
you,
right.
y'all have the biggest united front of any of the housing complexes in the district.
That's
Telling you
right.
that right now.
That's right. Thank you for that, P. And I just want to say something. What they underestimate is that we Ward 8 babies, and we Ward 8 for a reason. Okay, we are soldiers like that, and we're going to come back, and we're going to come back stronger towards them. What they expected you guys to do was to run away or leave, because not too long ago these very housing units was in the real estate system. So I'm not sure with all this development going on around town what the strategy was. So our team is looking at the long-term plan, see what's going on, because we can't understand why he would stay so silent and then come out and bring a lawsuit against Marbury but overlook Woodbury, and be so emphatical about not bringing these charges, even though they know you guys have retained counsel or in the process of having counsel represent you all. If one entity saw something legally violated or the possibility of, why are they so sure that Woodbury didn't need to be included in the lawsuit, but the others did? And these are the questions that you're entitled to ask. And so our advocacy is to empower you, beautiful queens. I want you to know, for you and your families and your co-tenants and neighbors, you are never alone. They will always try to divide us, and they got by us in that ballot box. I don't mean to talk politics, but I promise you, ladies, we're gonna have to do something different in our communities, and we're going to have to bring our communities along with us, because they don't need to be in those offices if they're going to ignore us in the wintertime when we need them the most. There is no excuse for that. And I'm so sick of that public office being turned into something other than the plight of helping people. When did public office become about celebrity? It's ridiculous. You shouldn't be living like this. This city should feel shamed. It's too much money coming through it, and you shouldn't have had to call for us, because if they had to do what they were supposed to do when you were reaching out to them, you would have had not to reach for us. So this is their problem. We're going to make sure that it's our entire city's problem. We're not going to go away, and we're not going to shut up. And every attorney's office that will allow us to interview with them, we're going to keep on until we bring you guys the team that OJ had. You see what I'm saying? Because even though they think they know better, there's always somebody out there that knows that justice has to be served. And post George Floyd, we will be quiet no more. So hats off to my beautiful queens. I couldn't think of any other way to support you guys through that awful lawsuit article from Friday, other than to bring you to a platform and let you speak your piece, so that they would know, and the people of this great city would know, is that this is not a politic move. This is not about our agency or organization. This is about your families, your real living, and the fact that it's gone on too long and it's still going on. And this city needs to start speaking up and calling them out. Hey, ladies, I'm just a phone call away. Our agency is here for you guys. We're going to keep this fight going all the way to the courts, and we're in the background for you if you need us, okay?
Okay.
Anything else that anybody wants to share before we leave? Anything that we didn't cover or get said?
What's that?
All right, palms up to you, queens. I want you to know that we're going to keep doing this fight like we've been doing it. And on record, I want to say, I believe those laundry rooms are still not accessible by you all. Is that accurate?
No, we're not able to use them.
I was told by the Attorney General in writing over almost a month ago, when she was sharing all this information. She's not the Attorney General, she works in that office with him. She might as well be, because he won't show up. But she said that she was going to have them make the laundry rooms accessible, and still they're not accessible. And this is the kind of misinformation and the deceitfulness that we're getting. When the outside checks in, when the media checks on it, they tell them it's covered or that they got people moving. But the truth of the matter is, they are being allowed a veil of protection that no landlord should be allowed when it's proven that people are living the way that you guys have been living. My heart stays with you all. I thank you for coming to the platform. You know, I try not to bring you guys out because I don't want people preying on you, but anything that you need to address, you give them my phone number. I'll take this fight on for you. God bless you, beautiful queens. I wish you guys a beautiful evening, and we'll talk on the other side, all right?
Okay.
Palms up to all of you all. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Facebook, just like that. It's our girls. You guys can leave when you get ready. I appreciate you all. It's your girl. We out here in this community. We ran a few minutes over, but our queens deserve that. Guys, I want you to know that that was just a small representation of the families that our dear Attorney General, our dear Mayor, our dear Council Member 8, our dear DCRA agency, what they say, tell them to call Housing Counseling Service. None of those systems. Bread for the City was on property when we got there. So stop telling us to tell these folks to call and use systems that have failed them. It is not okay. And when we come to you and tell you, our dear city, that our citizens are living like that and these elected officials are failing them, we depend on you to stand up and do the right thing, because it could have been your family and it might be. You want to know why these guns keep going off in this town? Because they will not address the mental health from a cultural standpoint to the point where our families and our individuals will receive the messaging and the treatments that go along with it. You have to care about people to get them to open up and talk to you. What's going on in this town is not okay. The bullying must end. And absolutely will you not pad your pockets and leave our seniors and our kids and our families over there to live like they in the third world. Absolutely not, DC. Call Racine, however you want to call it. We on your doorstep day and night until you get tired of playing these games, because you know you should have called it out. Capital Realty, your days are numbered. We're working on you, and we're going to get that property-wide mowed, and we're waiting to hear back from the fire inspectors, and our families call us every day because they know right from wrong, and you will not silence them, and you will pay them in a court of law. God bless you guys. Palms up, not on our watch. We'll see you guys next week. We ask you to keep our beautiful families and our children of Woodbury Village, of Ward 8, Southeast DC in your prayers, but most importantly, pray that this city does the right thing. And if they don't, pray that our families get the payday that they deserve, so this goes down in history as being an example of why you never take office and ignore our families. They elected you to be there to protect them. Shame on you, DC. And everybody that doesn't speak up watching this feed that know that you can do something. Shame on you. It's time to start caring about people post George Floyd. Hey, Overseer Coles, thanks so much. You know how we do when we go in. I know you know, right? Hey, P. Red, thanks so much again for another week. I know you know, right? We just got to take it here sometime. I don't want our folks to ever feel like they're by themselves. And this city got the game messed up, but we coming. God bless you, sweet souls. We'll talk to you on the other side. Palms up, everybody. Share this, like it, make it go viral. God bless.
God bless. Love everybody in life.